Top Step ended up messing something up on their end and the account ended up just being wiped. I swear that's everything that happened. I have a screenshot of what the account is at right now and I'll show you everything else. But apparently, I think honestly what they were trying to do is trying to get me to use Top Step X because I was still using Trade Evade. All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the first time. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, my name is Lewis and I am simply documenting my trading journey. First thing I want to say is thank you so much for the amount of support that we've been getting. If this is your first time on this channel, make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, because I'm just simply documenting, like I said, my trading journey. We had a very interesting week, not exactly how I wanted it to go, an amazing trading week, but something happened and I'll have to just explain that to you once we get into the video. Actually, I'll explain it before we get into everything, so just wait until after the sponsor of the video and after the Discord and all that stuff, and then I'll explain everything that happened. But make sure you follow me on Instagram at LewisVisuals_. Make sure you follow me on TikTok at LewisVisuals and on Twitter. My Twitter and all that stuff is down in the description. And I do want to say, well, I guess I could just say it now, I started a new account on Top Step for this video, which was supposed to be the first episode of the 50k funded account challenge in the channel. After the first day, or actually after the second day, Top Step ended up messing something up on their end and the account ended up just being wiped. And I swear that's everything that happened. I have a screenshot of what the account is at right now and I'll show you everything else. But apparently, I think honestly what they were trying to do is trying to get me to use Top Step X because I was still using Trade Evade. It is what it is. I'm probably just gonna start a new account, so tune into the next video, which is gonna have me using the new account. I don't know, I might switch prop firms or I might just stay with Top Step. I don't know which one of the two yet. I do have those two options. Just tune into the next video. It should be a fresh 50k account and then we'll go from there. And I will say in this video I am learning something very new that is very useful, and you'll see it once we get into the video, obviously. But I'll just say I'm not comfortable talking about it too much. I will talk about it in this video, but I'm not comfortable like teaching, quote unquote, even though it's just me back testing really, but because I want to master it a bit more before I even talk about it. But that's besides the point. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and let's head straight into the sponsor of the video. All right, so as you can see, the sponsor of this video is Tektronix.com or Tektronix PCs on Instagram. Make sure you check out their Instagram because their website is under construction. I will put up the video of my build here where they had helped me with a new case and brand new RAM added to my PC. And I will say that the reason why I stopped posting 2 videos a day last week was because my cooler had been broken. So what I did first was contact Tektronix PCs, and they had actually helped me out figuring out what the issue was, because I had no idea that my cooler was broken. My CPU was actually hitting temps of 100 degrees Celsius, and that's kind of crazy. So we were trying to figure out if it was the CPU, if it was the fans, or if it was the motherboard, whatever it was. And my boy Mike from Tektronix PCs ended up figuring it out for me, and we ended up getting a brand new cooler for my PC, and it's running perfect. So thank you so much to Mike from Tektronix. Make sure you use my discount code LVFLIP for 10% off. It should be still usable. Just message them and they'll help you out with everything. Just let them know that I sent you from Lewis Visuals YouTube channel. But apart from that, that is everything I have to say about Tektronix.com. Let's head into the Discord. All right, now we're in the Discord. The one thing I will have to say is that we have been extremely active. We've been so active this past week and the week before that I just love it. If we get a couple more people in here, I know this group chat, I know the chat will continue and continue. I just want it to be as active as possible. So if you're gonna join with the link down in the description, it's free. Make sure that you're active. That's all that I ask for. But as you can see, we've been catching a bunch of trades in here, talking about a bunch of different things. We talk about psychology, all that in here. A lot of people send many pictures, as you can see, of many different things. But all I can say is that I'm grateful for the people who are in here, and thank you for being in here, honestly. If you want to learn how to trade from me and have access to the premium lectures and the premium Discord, make sure you hit the join premium down here. You can also hit testimonials if you want to see any testimonials in terms of the people that I've already helped, if you want to see the prices and all that. And if you want a one-on-one mentorship from me so you can learn how to trade, you can hit the join premium, and all the information is in there, I swear. Hop in here. I'm gonna add a bunch of new things to the Discord server. That should be coming up in the future, but for right now, this is what it is. And if you're willing to join, link is down in the description. Pull up. All right, now we're in the video. This is the account that I have started, and if you want to see on Monday using this new strategy, well, I don't want to say strategy, but new confluence that I added to my trading, you can see that I caught a banger on Monday. And yeah, this was the account. After Monday, I think Tuesday I took 2 L's, so minus 400 on Tuesday. But apart from that, I was doing good, and this was the account. But after this, they just said, you know, you're gonna have to just start a brand new account, and it is what it is. I guess I'm gonna have to just start a brand new account, as you can see. But yeah, this was the account that I had prepared for this video, and I wasn't able to trade live past Tuesday. So literally I traded Monday and Tuesday, and then then after that, I was just trading demo for the rest of the week, and I let everybody know on my Instagram that the rest of the week's videos were gonna be on demo. So I don't want to hear anybody saying demo warrior this and that, because I said what it is. I'm always transparent with whatever I'm trading, whether it's a demo trade, a funded account trade, or a live account trade. I always let you know what it is. We're just gonna start over with a brand new account and then have it going from there. But either way, if you see here, this is what the week ended up looking like. We had a Monday low with a very big wick on Wednesday, all the way up to a Friday high, to then dump back within the range, kind of a TGIF Friday trade. I had a very good trade here on Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. I believe I missed an entry, I don't remember, but either way, if you want to see these clips, I'll put one up right now from Monday of the live trade I did take on Monday before we talk about it, so you can check it out. So go ahead and check that out so that you can see it. But an amazing entry, an amazing trade using these brand new confluences. Well, it's not brand new, but using this brand new quote unquote strategy. I'm gonna perfect it, like I said, before I really start talking about it publicly. I haven't even talked to my premium members about it yet, but yeah, this is craziness, and I'm sorry for all of this, but let's get straight into Monday because it gets a lot easier. First and foremost, this line that you see right here, a wick rejection block, as you can see, and I took an entry off of that for shorts. Now you can't see it in there, I have to zoom back in, but you will be able to see it very soon. But as you can see, I was mostly bullish, but I saw this setting up, and using this brand new strategy, I guess quote unquote you can say, I took the short off of this rejection block. I actually had an initial loss, and then I re-entered on the 1 minute rejection block for shorts, and got out a little early as well. I should have left it for what it is, but it's okay. As you can see here, it's just fib projections. It's very simple. The fib projections were lining up, as you can see, with the rejection block. So once I noticed that we had opened, and literally at the open we ran all the way up, I found a way to teach without, or at least back test without having to go back to Narnia every time I enter or leave a time frame. But like I said, the levels ended up matching up perfectly, and I think I had another level here, and I also had this level here as well. Like I said, I did delete some because my chart was getting kind of crazy when I was talking to one of my students about how the week was playing out on Wednesday. But as you can see, the levels around here with the -4 were very prominent, as well as this area around here. I knew there was going to end up being some type of frame reversal there. I also noticed that we had that rejection block, like I said. So on the 1 minute, I hopped in here. I kind of missed the best entry, honestly, off of just the rejection, which was the CE here, but I got lucky and got a re-entry when we came back inside the actual wick. So I just took that there with a 12-point stop above this high, because I knew if we were past that, we probably were going to just continue higher. And then like I said, the video is already up, so you could just take it from there. And I got out at midnight price, which was here, midnight opening price. And I honestly should have waited until we got into that 1 hour for value gap down here, or at least touched one of the fib projections for the lows. Let's see here real quickly. Yeah, I could have used these fib projections as well and got out at the -4 because it lined up perfectly with the start of that fair value gap. So either way, it is what it is. That was a good entry. I could have also took a trade entry out of this, which would have been kind of crazy, because as you see, we were already inside, and some of the fib levels here do match up inside of this fair value gap. I'm not gonna explain it in this video, like I said, but off of the rejection block, you wouldn't have gotten a real entry. I don't think so, unless you had a limit there. It probably would have triggered you in a limit, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it would have got you in on the limit, so that's good. Another one that you could have took was the order block, and I know this is not the conventional order block, but the last down close candle, literally you could have had the CE entry here with a 18-point stop there. Not a horrible entry, but not the best as well. But then you could have just targeted this high for 119 points, for example. That is just the type of trades. You could have also just had a 10-point stop. As you see, this is 1050, but 10-point stop for an 11 RR. And you know, prices kept going after that, honestly. Yeah, price just kept booming after that. So you could have honestly targeted one of these levels up here as well, because they work as actual levels to target as well. But I'm sure this buy side liquidity up here was probably hit on Monday. If not, it was probably hit the next day anyway. So yeah, we already started consolidating, but no, I'm pretty sure it was hit on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. It is hit on Monday, so this could have been a 187 point move for an 18 RR. Kind of ridiculous, but that's the type of RRs that you could get using this. So you know, that is the reason why I'm using it. That's the reason why I want to master it. That's the reason why I am not talking to anybody about it, because I want to make sure that I master it before I actually start using it. And I guess you could try to decipher it as we go on, but it is what it is. And then here, this is the trade that I had on Tuesday. Now Tuesday, the levels lined up perfectly, and I took a very nice entry. So my entry was at what, 23, 211, 25. I had a 10-point stop, and they literally stopped me out by one tick. If you pay attention here, I'm sorry for all the clutter, but they literally stopped me out by 1 point, stopped me out right there, and then they dumped towards my target and even more. I can't really be mad at it. It is what it is. They kind of just happened. I could have re-entered at 9:31. I believe there was a rejection block entry, but they just dumped. They completely just dumped. Here on Tuesday, I came in bearish, so like I said, we were gonna be bearish, and this is the entry that I got with a 10-point stop, and they came up, boom, took me out by literally 1 point, and then completely dumped to my target. It is what it is, but like I said, I could have re-entered right here at 9:31, and then I had my stop 10 points or above that. I was trying to see if they came back up to CE of that wick, which is why this box is here, as you can see that box, but they never came back up to the box, and they just went. They just tapped it and left. And I guess that's on me. As I continue to trade it more and more, I would continue to become more comfortable with actually taking entries like that. But it is what it is. It really is. I can't really do anything about it. At that point, I was just like, you know what, I'm basically done for the day. And I think I took another re-entry, I think right here. So I took that loss, and then I took another loss in 50% of this wick, and they came up a little higher and then dumped us. But that's the luck that I had. I should have just waited, honestly, because I could have probably got a move up here, or like I said, I had these paper trades that later on in the day just to continue to use the model and see what I end up getting. And then I got some pretty good trades off of it. As you can see, I got this short and I closed here, but I could have held it a little longer, if I'm being honest, because this move down never got to the point of terminus or the -4 on the fib. As you can see here, these are the trades that I took on paper. This one I took basically off of the projections here, lined up perfectly with the 5-minute inverse fair value gap. So I took it off of the -2.5 with a 10-point stop. I honestly didn't take it as soon as they tapped into it, but then I saw that they came back up and respected the order block. So I was just like, let me give it a try. So I got in about here, and then they just continued to dump after that. So it is the second trade that I took on paper, and I believe I sent it in the chat as well. This is the second trade here, and I'll explain that in a little bit. As you can see, using the standard deviations, this is that other trade that I took on the way down. That's there. Then I ended up taking this entry, basically using the standard deviations again, basically rejecting again off of that level. We come back down. This is the retracement zone. We retrace back inside of this fair value gap. I took the CE of the fair value gap with a 10-point stop, and then it just dumped down to the midnight opening price, which is another good target, like I said earlier, to target. But once I master this, I guarantee you that I will talk more about it openly here on YouTube. But like I said, I want to master it. I don't want to talk about something that I haven't used very often. I've only been using it for about a week now, so I have a lot of back testing to do. I have a lot of real-time data to collect on it either way. So let's head on to Wednesday, because Wednesday was a doozy. Wednesday, I ended up missing this trade entry on Wednesday because of the stuff with Top Step, and I couldn't really trade, if I'm being honest, but it is what it is. We had this level here pop up perfectly, as you could see, with the -2.5 and the -5 being very close to this order block on the 15-minute. They tapped the order block, and perfect 10-point stop on a limit. I couldn't take it on the account, so I took it on paper, because it is what it is. I can't really do nothing about it. And then I was just targeting this low down here. I could have targeted the 50%, but I decided to target the low because the -2.5 was right next to it. So, you know, gave it a try. It did hit, but like I said, I couldn't really take anything else on this day just because of that, and it was very annoying. But there was also this long that ended up playing out. As you can see, I did take this here as well at the -4.5 all the way up, and then ended up taking a break even on this on paper again. So they dumped one last time, and I believe this ended up lining up here with the previous Asia session, -2.5, and got very close to the, no, I did hit the -2.5 actually, and then left a rejection block entry for longs. And this was later on in the morning session, but it did leave a very very nice entry, as you could see here with this rejection block. Boom, you could have had this entry right there. Ooh. And literally, and I kid you not, have a six point stop and target whatever you wanted. I honestly would have been targeting something like this here for 200 points, but it continued higher. It did continue higher and got up to this high, so you could have targeted that as well, but I ain't trying to be too greedy. As you can see, 247, basically 250 points. And if we just do the math on this, you already know, just with one contract, that's 5K, risking $134. This model is crazy, and like I said, I'm gonna continue to work on it and continue to become better at using it. But when I say this thing works, I mean it. This thing works, and you know, that is what it is. But I missed this entry on my actual account because I couldn't trade it, so I had to take it on paper. But that is what it is. Thursday ended up being even better, if we're being honest. Let's move on to Thursday really quickly. Here on Thursday, I know there's a bunch of levels, and I mean a bunch of levels, so I apologize for that, but the level that I had here on Thursday would have been perfect, would have really been perfect. Yep, right here, using this right here. And I missed this because I was in the shower. The one day that I didn't get on the charts early enough, they come and hit my level, but I was too focused on the short, so I missed the long opportunity. There was a very nice long that ended up setting up here. As you can see, I had this level lined up for shorts here on Thursday. Basically, literally the top take 1 point of drawdown, if I'm not, yeah, 175 points of drawdown, but I usually go for 10 points because that's a very nice risk to reward either way. I think the people who go for below that 5 points, you got to be very accurate, and you could have targeted this down here, the -4, because it lined up with these relatively equal lows either way, -4. And Thursday was an amazing day to trade, honestly. Then as you can see, they boom, and then after that lines up perfectly with the CE of this fair value gap. Here we have the -4, like I said, CE. You have a rejection block off of that, perfect entry at the halfway point of that rejection block. So then take them long here, probably there. You would have a 3-point stop. I probably would have gone for 10, but a 3-point stop, really, that's crazy. And then you could have targeted this high for your first trade. This is the trade that I actually took, and I posted this one on Instagram, and I'll explain it in a little bit, but that's good enough. 89 points, that's very good, especially on funded accounts, man. Like, come on, almost 2 bands. Come on, man, it doesn't get any better than that. And it kept going, so you could have held, you could have easily held and got one of these levels up here from the Asia session. Could have targeted the -4, and look, it hit it. It did hit it right before going into the afternoon session. It did hit it, so you could have left the runner and probably got it. It's probably like somewhere here, -4.5. Yeah, hit it. So 178 points for that. But this is the short that I ended up taking. I then took fib projections. I believe it was these fib projections here. Yeah, using these fib projections here, as you can see, basically the -4 and the -2 were right there, and they started to reject, so I took an entry off of that. There was something else that I use as well for extra confirmation, which I won't talk about here, but that told me that there was a lot of sellers at this point, or a lot of sell orders at this point. So I took a short, and then I used the fib projection of this to get my exit right here at the -2.5, and I exited right below the -2.5.5. So the CE of that point, and then it just continued higher. And then a lot of people took the long here with the CISD, and ended up playing out because it moved a lot after that, honestly. From the CE just to this point, 100 points, that's a very nice trade. So it did move a lot, but like I said, it boomed. It did go very high after that, so it was a very nice trade. And this trade, I believe it hit for 1K because it was about 52 points, so it was probably like 1 point something. But either way, as you can see right here, it was 140. So yeah, it was 52 points. That's not a bad target. That's a very nice trade, and that's the trade that I took for the day, just using these levels. But now let's move on to Friday, because on Friday, and there's a lot of higher time frame stuff here. Don't just use it the way that I'm talking about it. There's a lot of other stuff that you can do to get better levels. But as you can see here, this is the trade that I ended up taking on Friday, and it was just a gap fill trade. So I was just targeting the gap fill using the standard deviations, as you can see here, but ended up not coming up to the levels that I had for shorts. Honestly, I had way higher for my short levels. I think it was up here at this point here, so that 339 level, and it just did not come up there. So let's get into the 1 minute really quickly. So I ended up missing the shorts. Yeah, it may look a little crazy, but like I said, this is something that's very new to me as well, and I'm still trying to perfect it. But as you can see, the levels, it did not come up to the level that I had. Like I said, it was at 32 level up here, and it just ended up dumping off for the rest of the day. So I was just very very patient and I was waiting to see what I can see. It was very, I know a lot of people who got caught up in this area here and were stopped out before this move lower. So I just waited for the move lower because I had fifth levels around here, and I believe there was a fair value gap or something. I don't remember what it is, but there is a level here that I have. I think it might be a 4-hour fair value gap. Let me just take a look at it. Is this a 4-hour fair value gap here? So I was just waiting to see us come into that 4-hour fair value gap to see how we would react. Like I said, I had that level there basically lining up perfectly with the CE, and I ended up taking a trade with my levels being, I think I entered at 197, and I ended up getting stopped out by this, and then it started doing all this nonsense. So I just waited to see what we would do, honestly, and then I saw them do this. So they created this low, then they came back down, swooped it, and then they started to move, and I see that they're respecting this. So I was actually trying to enter a bit earlier, but I just waited. Honestly, you don't need to be a top and bottom ticker. If you were just using your regular confluences and use this to then get kind of extra confirmation for longs, then you could use it like that. And like I said, I entered off this inverse fair value gap halfway point. As you can see, they closed above the fair value gap, inverting it. So I just waited till they came back down, and I actually took a market order and it filled me in perfectly right there. But I just took the entry at the CE, and then like I said, had this stop below here for 11 points, and then it just went, and then it came back down to the CISD. A lot of people took the CISD entry, and then it went all the way up. Now people didn't know what to target, so I just used the fib projections to target, and I saw that the negative 2.5 and the negative 2 area, which is where it reverses from, was right at the gap fill level. So I could have took it short again after that, honestly, for the gap fill short, but I just took this and just got off of the charts, to be honest. And then for the rest of the day it did this, so I'm glad I got out of there. But I was looking for shorts and it never got up to my level, so I guess I had the wrong level on this day, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna be perfect at it. I just started using it, and then it has been working out. But that's basically it for this week. I can't wait to just clear this chart and start over, because I did want to do a lot of back testing this weekend, so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that's basically the end of the video. Thank you for checking it out. Like I said, once I get more confident with this, I will definitely talk about it more here on the YouTube channel. But for now, I'm just gonna keep it to myself and keep learning and keep using it to become better as a trader. And tune into the next video. It should be on the funded account challenge, so let's do that. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, on Instagram. All the links are down in the description. Make sure you join the Discord. The link is also down in the description for that. Check out Tektronix PCs on Instagram. Their website should be up soon. They're still in the works. It's going to be a fire website when it comes back on. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.